Yeah.
Wait, Emily, this is Emily. She's filming. Don't worry, we only have 2.5 more hours of battery life.
Oh, perfect.
Get my good side. This is my bad side. This is where I have less hair and a crooked nose. We're just
stick with us.
We're just
stay with us.
The first one is just feeling it out.
Okay, take 2.
Okay, or 2.
This was going. Yeah, that was
So
good.
you ask her again.
That was
Again.
It was good. Let's just keep rolling.
Yeah.
So do it again though.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it easy to cut.
Okay, I get it.
Otherwise, she's gonna be like,
This would be bad.
so I wanted to be in nutrition, but
Yeah.
I really was interested in, like, it would just be like pod people.
It would be bad. Okay, so. Ready. So, I grew up in Puyallup and went to undergrad at Central. And
I love Central.
I love Central.
Sorry.
She's a loser.
Deep breath. Take 3. You're supposed to be thinking of your own story.
Okay, go.
Oh, my brain is starting over. I need alcohol.
Puyallup.
Okay. Nutrition.
Okay.
Central.
Renton, Puyallup. Central.
Didn't they have the monkeys?
They did have the monkeys, and they're no longer there. It's sad. But they probably shouldn't be just kept in a small cage for the rest of their lives anyway. So,
have a monkey program.
right?
Yeah, it's weird.
So decided on nutrition, graduated from that, thought I was going to be a dietitian, and realized that I didn't want to just tell people what to eat for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So started thinking more into it. I thought naturopath was going to be it for a while. And then meanwhile, Bo had decided on going to chiropractic school.
Wait, when did you meet?
Oh, yeah, he should come into the story too. So we went to the same
Just a little bit.
high school. He's kind of a piece.
Just a little bit. Nice.
High school, really?
High school. We didn't really know each other. He was a year above me. Like, our friends were friends, but I was dating this awful guy the whole time and, like, didn't really do anything except for hang out with him. And so then he went to Central, and we had seen each other at a few parties in the summertime, and I was like, ooh, he's cute. And then we got to Central, and he was dating this girl, and then he stopped. And the next day we went on our first date. So he had kind of thought chiropractic his whole life, and then he kind of went away from it for a while and then came back. So right before we went to Iowa to go to chiropractic school, I was talking with a girlfriend of mine, and she had just graduated from chiropractic school and basically the same background as me. And she had thought nutrition and wanted to do more, and she was like, why don't you be a chiropractor? And I was like, I remember saying, I've never thought about cracking backs before. Like, that doesn't sound fun. Like, I had only been to a chiropractor after I got in a car accident before. And so I went, we moved there, and Bo was like, just come meet with my academic advisor and see what they say. So I give him my transcript and everything, and he looks at it and he goes, well, you've done all the prereqs that you have to do with your undergrad, and so you can start next week when your husband starts. And I was just like, okay, let's do it. He looks at us and he was like, do you want to like go home and talk about it for a few days? I was like, we can, but let's just sign up. Like, it sounds like it's a good fit. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I still knew nothing about chiropractic. The first day of school, I had an embryology class, and the professor was talking about adjusting newborn babies. And my mind was just blown. I had no idea that was a thing. And right in class that first day, I was like, boom, this is why I'm here. So that's kind of what I do now.
Huh. What were you going to do when you went?
I had no idea. I thought that I was going to be a chiropractor that like focused on nutrition and like holistic living. I thought that I was going to do very little chiropractic, but I didn't really even know what it was, to be completely honest. I was mostly using it as a tool to try to do more than just nutrition. And I just didn't even know what that meant.
Huh.
Yeah.
So then you guys finished school. How long did you go to school?
It's 3.5 years. So we actually got pregnant with Max our first trimester of school. So that was fun and exciting. And so we had him and graduated from school. During graduation I was pregnant with Mason. And we had this awesome job lined up, like this basically one of Bo's family friends was a chiropractor, and he was ready to retire, and he was like, I want you guys to take over my practice. Sounded like a sweet deal. And then we got his associate that he was working with took over his practice and pretty much said that we can't have any of the patients that we were guaranteed. So I was like 8 months pregnant, and we quit our jobs because we didn't want to work with this guy, and we didn't have any jobs, and we didn't know what we were going to do. And Bo ended up finding this job for a guy working just during like Christmas time and stuff, so that this guy could just go take vacations. And meanwhile, we had found our business coach and basically figured out how to just do our own thing. And so March of 2016, we bought a practice in Gig Harbor. And
cool.
The rest is history.
And you moved here.
And we moved here.
So both of your families are around here.
Yeah, so his dad and stepmom are in Wenatchee, and then my parents and his mom are in Puyallup.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So 2 kids.
Two
How old are they?
Max is 5, Mason will be 3 in November.
Man,
Yeah.
it's a busy past
Yeah.
6 years.
It's been like every single year has been like another major like life-changing event. So
Yeah.
now the last like year or so it's just been like this, not a lull, but it's just nothing super crazy has happened. So we're just kind of waiting to see what the next crazy thing is. So actually Max starting kindergarten is kind of a crazy thing because it means that we're old and he's old. And it's weird.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah, I also didn't know these were real.
Oh, they are?
So
I thought maybe
Oh,
you
I've been
wanted
picking them apart and
This
getting
is
grape juice all over my
fancy.
hands.
It
I was like, okay, I
like
should play with
wine
something so that I can focus. And I was like, oh, these beautiful wax grapes
grapes. No,
that are now
this
leaking
is all
all
from
over
here.
me.
They're from here.
Oh,
They're
really?
from right over
Everything?
there.
What?
Everything.
Bounty.
They're
this
really
beautiful
good.
bounty.
If
You
we
just
can feed
do it
the
all.
pigs afterwards.
Oh.
This doesn't require any work, but
Dang.
That's so cute.
it's good.
Well,
Yeah, the
I'll-
grapes.
I'll eat this play grape that I
Maybe
have.
drop it into your little.
That's really good.
There we go. It's really gonna do it.
Hide the evidence. Glad I know it's not wax. So I was like, shit, I gotta get rid of this
We
thing.
only do real here.
Only real for sure. My roots.
100% authentic.
My roots.
Mine too. So that's something.
Mine is. Sorry.
Somebody's gonna comment and be like, "So I can do your hair if you need
Right.
it."
Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Ladies,
It's just easy
did you
because I
not
don't
know
have
you
to
were
do
gonna
it.
be on camera?
I seriously didn't. How did I not know
I
that?
had no idea.
I had no idea. I think I only listen to half of things.
Oh, I do that.
Because at the speed of
Absolutely.
life, I can only afford to listen to half of things.
Yeah, it's like filtered.
Yeah, 100%.
So you just filter everything just in case.
My whole life.
Half of it is bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much most of it is.
You could just go ahead and assume that. So I'll just filter you to begin with.
There we go.
That's kind of the truth. All right.
Okay, you got it. So I'm gonna jump to her origins, where mine was. And so
After the earthquake.
after the earthquake, when I was born, that changed the course of many lives, including my own. I grew up in kind of a really fun and dysfunctional family. There's a lot of kids, and my parents split when I was a junior in high school. After
How many kids?
my dad was kind of a rambling tumbleweed, so we've identified 6, 2 half, and I have 3 full siblings. So all in all, 6 of us. This is why it's fun. But they divorced after like 23 years of marriage, and it was very weird, right? To see your parents who you thought would be together forever, and all of a sudden split. So I've always had like a ton of responsibility, but then managed like this party lifestyle at the same time. So from a young age, I knew I could manage a lot of things. I could do a lot of things. I had like a threshold for stress and fun that like nobody else did. So I was always really overambitious. Opted to stay home and go to junior college to take care of my younger siblings because my mom was gone.
And this was where?
In Northern California. So I'm from California, half Southern, half Northern. And then we actually transplanted here a year and a half ago. So we've only been in Washington for almost a year and a half now. So I went to college for psychology. I really wanted to understand like why are we so messed up? And like, why is my hammer so crazy? And where did this all go wrong? And how can I make sure that when I breed, it doesn't happen to us? And, you know, life just kind of took hold, and I ended up doing construction, like administration, which turned into like a different field, lots of management and project coordination. And then we got pregnant, and we're like, just kidding, I'm gonna stay home. And so I was a full-time mom, which was awesome, but then I have this capacity to like grow and do well, and I've always worked since I was really young. So it felt very strange to just be at home with a kid all day. Even though I loved it and I'm great with children and I'm a really good mom, it just felt weird not to be like contributing and not have a voice and not have to like ask to buy stuff. That was very weird, or feel guilty or shameful if I spent money outside of like our budget. Which didn't stop me from spending like $10,000 in our savings and then not paying property taxes and getting us into a really bad situation. I was guilty about asking for the money he saw, not the secret money. I spent that. Please believe that.
That's gone.
But you know, being around enough stay-at-home moms, I forgot how awesome I was. Because it's all about like, what does your kid's poop look like, and how many hours are they sleeping? Are you cluster feeding on one boob more than the other? And are you making kombucha? And you're not going to nurse your kids till you're 12? What's wrong with you? And you just all of a sudden you get sucked into this vortex of just crap. Like, it's honestly feels a lot like force-fed bullshit sometimes. And people just identify in that. And it took me a while to figure out, like, I was super cool before I had kids. I got to go find her again. And then I decided to get back to things I loved, like massage and energy healing and Reiki and the things that made me all witchy and weird, and just kind of stumbled into another realm of healing with like essential oils, and became this voice for like a group of people that didn't have one. And I got to break a lot of those molds as far as like what success looks like, and designing your life and stepping into like this power we all have, but nobody really wants to acknowledge. So it's been fun, and it's still fun, still confusing, lots of self-sabotage, lots of personal development, lots of, you know, hurdles and challenges, but that's what keeps it interesting, right? So no 2 days are the same, right? And then nothing is predictable, and I have to work really hard, and I like it. So it's just been fun.
Cool. So tell everybody, so when people ask what you do, what do you say?
Well, I would say like the blanket description would be holistic educator, because I teach people about, you know, how to replace things in their home with plant-based options instead, so it's more sustainable. But then I also teach them about self-care and the importance of mindset. I like to call people out on their BS, so I like to push them. I'm overly animated, so I think my job is to just like shift people, whatever that looks like. If it's, you know, starting new relationships, or saying no to something, or creating better boundaries, or self-care, or deciding to do something different in your life, I think it's just a matter of like, you have to take that step, and I'm usually like the pusher. So I would say holistic educator is what I do for a job, but what I do doesn't really feel like a job. I work like sometimes if I want to. Some weeks are busier than others, and some days I'm just like,
I was gonna ask you guys.
who wants to go to
much do you
Michael's?
work?
Blow $500 on crafts.
Me and Michael's.
Let's do it. I'll take all the fairy things you have, darling. I'm a dick.
How much do you guys work? Like, if you had to, like, let's think.
Like real work?
Real work, yeah. Not sitting, well, on social media. I mean, unless you're working.
Social media.
So take like half of it. I say the same thing. But I consider like half. Well, maybe 70, probably 70% of my social media time is work.
Probably like 15 to 20 hours a week.
Wow.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But I worked super hard to get to that point.
Right.
Super hard.
Oh, dude.
So in the beginning, like, you know, there's different levels of income that you can build, and, you know, residual income, and, you know, I have a lot that I do, but I work for myself and I work very efficiently, so I can knock out like a week's worth of stuff in 2 hours. And so that 15 to 20 hours I'm working, I'm just dialing and cranking stuff out and getting things done, and then I can go play.
Do you feel like, both of you guys actually, now that I'm hearing this, do you feel like you're like, sometimes I feel like this, I'm like a healer, just disguised as my business.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my front.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that's the storefront, and I just have to get people in.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right?
that's the
Yeah.
revolving doors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My storefront is
I
essential
was
oils.
wondering if other people felt that way.
Yeah.
And then now
Yeah.
I'm hearing you. I'm like, oh, it's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like just come in.
Well, but then you teach people like I'm just one piece of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Here are some other cool pieces I know,
Mhm.
and then it becomes this awesome like collaboration where you can't just do one thing and be well. You have
Right.
to do
Right.
everything.
All good.
You have to
Yeah.
do little pieces of it.
Doesn't
And I think
necessarily
you don't
matter
have
what
to-
you do.
right. And I think anybody can have that healing power for people. Like you said, you feel like you're a kind of a pusher and get people to start things. I don't think we have to have titles or professional jobs to say that we're helping people. I think it's all just what you want in your heart and how you just portray that to your people that you're around. So I think anybody can be
Mm-hmm.
a healer disguised.
Well, anybody can make a choice to be different. So.
Mhm.
5 years ago, I was at home with my 18-month-old daughter playing stacking cups and tracing letters and like loathing my life and just hating the fact that like all I had to do was wash cloth diapers and cut grapes into quarters. Like that was my biggest challenge was like, shit, can I get the laundry done and is that going to kill you if you eat it?
I never cut the grapes.
Oh, you have to always cut the
I
grapes.
was so
Cooking
mad when I
wizard.
found out that
Oh man.
Did you really like? Did you ever stay at home? Maybe when you first had your baby.
You were
and with Max, not
No,
really.
I want to have like. I never. I hated it.
I did.
I hate's a strong word. I did not like
It's not for everybody.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. With Max, I pretty much, because we were in school, so he was born. We had like a 2-week. He was born during, for not planning him, he came at like the most perfect time in school. We had a 2-week break for after finals before the next trimester started. So I pretty much stayed home for like 4 weeks and then just started slowly going back like one class a day for a month or so. I was a really bad student that trimester, but I didn't stop any time. So then when Mason was born and we didn't really have jobs, so I didn't really have an option to not work. But I stayed home with him while we were waiting to start our clinic. And I ended up staying home for like 6 months. And it was way too long for me. Like 3 months into it, I was like, all right, I think I'm ready to start. But it just wasn't time for the clinic. And by 6 months, I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I always knew that I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. My mom she worked pretty much part-time her whole life, and so she was almost always there to at least take us to the after-school things. But she like never could drive me to school in the morning because when she did work, she had to work early, and so I always knew that I wanted to work. I wanted to be that mom that could like take my kids to school, work while they're in school, and then be there for whatever they need to when they get home. And so we've just kind of made that happen. And that's. To me, that's
sounds
perfect.
like you too. Like,
I think I could even work more. I like working.
Well,
I love working.
Yeah.
I like staying at home because I love kids. Like I've been taking care of other people's kids since I was 7. So I love being with children, but what I didn't love is that feeling at the end of the day that you have nothing to look forward to other than the things that bring you joy. Like, it's not to downplay motherhood, but we all have this capacity to do so much more with our lives, and staying home with the kids was a priority. So the deal with my husband and I was, he worked a really high stress job for a national laboratory for almost 20 years. And the deal was, I'm going to grow this thing big enough so that I can retire you and you can come home, because one of us has to be with the kids all the time. I didn't want our kids to not be raised by one of us. That was just something that we agreed upon when we started breeding. So it's nice that I work from home, but I'm not missing out on anything. But if like I have to leave and go do things, I can. Because I like being with my minions. They're like really weird and fun, and it makes me sad that they're in school and not around as much. It's very, very strange. But
I get sad too.
you get this little window that you get to be with them, which I'm really grateful to have. But after that, your life has to keep going. So as a stay-at-home mom, what are you going to do when you have this like 6-year kind of expiration date for when you can really be that devoted stay-at-home mom?
Right.
That's when the stereotypes kick in of like, oh, I'm just going to go like walk around the park and get a coffee and do some like yoga and pick up stenciling and...
Well, you just lose all
If that's
sense of
fulfilling
you.
Yeah.
to people, but I haven't.
Right.
I mean, I work with hundreds of women a week, and I find that it's not fulfilling. Like, there's so many people that are staying home because they feel like they have to, but they're not happy.
No.
And I'm like, if you're not happy, like, how's your kid gonna be happy?
Right. Because they know.
Or they don't believe they could do more than what they've been given. And there's this belief system you have to kind of shake up a little bit, which becomes complicated because there's lots of resistance when you do something new or become something different. Because we're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to be different. I had kids at 26. 26-year-old me is a piece of shit compared to 33-year-old me. And we have to keep getting better. Otherwise, what's the point? Why are we even here?
Right.
So,
Definitely.
stay-at-home moms are just like, this podcast. I love Brayden, Kaden, and Jaden more than anything.
Brayden, Kaden, Jaden, all of them.
All the same letter.
Yeah, they're like shopping on Etsy for like a clock
that
of the
one
exact
person.
time they were born, like
Oh,
20
God.
feet wide. It's for Brayden's room.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot to put the grape in there. I thought it was a bug.
How does it taste?
I don't know. I freaked out. I shut down the taste buds. It was all fear. It tasted like fear.
It'd be terrible if you spit it out.
No, I just couldn't.
Oh
Sorry.
Gosh. Okay, so 15 hours, that's at 15 to 20 hours. How much?
I'm adjusting like 4, 8, 12. I'm only adjusting like 16 hours a week, but that doesn't. So I'm seeing patients about 16 hours a week, but then I have to do all the stuff on the back end. So I'd say definitely closer to like 35 to 40 at the end of it. And like meetings and marketing stuff, and it's more than I thought it would be. But like I said, I kind of like it. Like I feel like I want to work more almost. But that could just be the phase that I'm into. But it's kind of nice though on the flip side, because my like obligation to be there is less than part-time. Like it's so small for I have to be there. So that's nice. And for us it's really nice too, because if the kids are sick or something, they have to miss school, we bring them in and we do work, and the kids love coming to see us work too. Like they just love coming to the office. So I don't know, like you said, sometimes it doesn't even feel like work that much, just because we're there just hanging out with people all day, like laughing and trying to make people healthier. But
Well, in the first 5 years of any business, you're supposed to be working really hard.
Right.
There's not really, it's not like the work that I do when people come in and they're like, oh, I really want to build, my own thing. And it's like, okay, well, be prepared to sacrifice a ton of shit and work really hard and set goals and be accountable and be driven and not expect that you can be at my level in 6 months. This took me almost 5 years. And I'm good time Charlie, because I've been working nonstop super hard. Where the kids are sleeping, I'm preparing content. And when they're napping, I'm not napping like Pinterest tells me to do. I'm working on like webinars and putting out promotions and scheduling classes and talking to people and creating weird inventions that people steal. The snack jacket.
oh,
I know. It's okay. It's more tactical best, but snack jacket is like for stay-at-home moms building a business where you put snacks in the hood, in the pockets, on you, so that when your kids want something, they just take it off your snack jacket, and you can still be on the phone. Or if you're holding them, like teething toys, stuff they can eat, frozen, just snack jackets. It's a pretty big deal.
Okay.
Because I remember just like building my business on the phone with like one kid in me and another one like running around. And Snack Jacket was born. I was like, yeah, you can have all the cheddar bunnies you want if you dig them out of my hood.
I missed that connection. I was like, wait, what happened?
So instead of feeding them real meals,
Is
they were
this
just
another
crazy.
business?
It should be.
Where did I
steal the Hot Pocket jingle, get sued. This podcast is shut down by Hot Pocket.
Sorry, all 22
Snack
viewers are out.
Done.
Really disappointed.
Give me that shed.
We're so
We're taking the shed too. Taking the pigs.
and these fake grapes. Oh wait,
Don't take.
Are they good? Are they table grapes?
no.
Oh.
They're wine grapes. Yeah, that's what everyone
Is it
does.
good?
The pears and the apples are good, but that would be if we crunch them, we're gonna sound like horses.
Oh.
You can totally hear that.
Very bitter. It's like birthing, like an egg yolk. It's
Okay, it's not that bad.
Eat one.
Well, yeah,
It's like the skin slithers off, and then wait, is the
Just
fruit
take a
is
bite.
attacked by itself. The whole thing.
I'll just do the whole thing.
Let it slide out. Ugh.
Let it slide out.
Snack chicken.
It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, drink it down.
Are you sure you're hungry, Billy?
Flavored water.
Eat these. Stop asking mommy for snacks.
Oh my god. Oh, focus. Take 3.
Go. That's not good.
I was looking at the grape.
No, it isn't.
Wish I did do that.
Yeah, she made you.
You wish you didn't do it and you're uncomfortable. My work here is done. Goodbye. I can go home.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Focus.
Focus.
Mexico.
Let's not talk about the earthquake anymore.
Also Mexican.
We
so
could just go back to the earthquake.
we could.
Can always do that.
Okay, so you've run your business for how long? You said 5 years?
I think 4.5. I'm like, yeah, 4.5.
And how long have you guys been open?
It'll be 3 years that we've owned this clinic in March.
Okay. Well, you said something about like how stay at home, and I want to talk about it because I hear a lot of women talking about the money and the guilt when you stay at home, and I think that why is that? Do you guys think?
Well, we financed a house. We put a ton of money down and had like a $500,000 mortgage with the consideration that I was going to maintain my job when we got pregnant. And so we bought this house while we were pregnant thinking like, oh my god, we're going to start our family here. It's going to be so great. We're going to do daycare. And then literally push came to shove and I was like, I can't do it. Nobody's touching this baby. So we came home and had this deficit of the income that I had from my corporate job. And so things were not just tight, they were like uncertain. And so it's just like, we sometimes attach like our value to what we're able to generate. And I think if we're not generating anything, then our value drops. And if we're not bringing money in and we're spending someone else's money, I just wasn't raised like that. I saw how finances played a huge part in my parents splitting up, that I've always wanted to be one of those like independent, we'll pay half, I don't care if you're uncomfortable, like I'm splitting the rent with you, we're splitting all the bills with you, I don't need you, like step off. So when I didn't have that ability to like go halvesies anymore, I felt like crap. Like, oh, I'm just a freeloader. Like, I'm some townie you brought in and got pregnant. Now I just cook and clean for you.
Was that all you think, or was that?
Yeah, totally on me.
Yeah.
He wasn't like that. If anything, he was like, we'll figure it out. You know, like, it's more important that you're home with the baby, and I'll figure it out. And he totally stepped up and provided for us and took on overtime and commuted this hellish commute. I mean, he was down for whatever it took for me to stay home. And that's awesome. But I wasn't about to vent to him my frustrations of feeling like I had no identity or purpose or value, because he's already taking on this burden of like, take care of us. So it was like a lot of suffering in silence and pretending like it was okay, and pretending like, oh, I had a great day, I did the laundry, and they rearranged all the Tupperwares, I found all those gosh darn lids. You know, like, It was a lot of this like
No,
peacocking.
Yeah.
When in reality, I was like, I just
Instead of
want
saying the truth.
to drink
right.
and watch horror movies, and I hope this kid takes a 5-hour nap. Like, I just.
So, like, what happened? Did it come to a point where then you were like, ah, this is how I really feel? Or you just figured it out?
No, we
On your
got
own.
a letter from our mortgage company, and they're like, "Hey, P.S. You haven't paid your taxes in 2 years, so we're gonna need $10,000 in like 3 months, and then we're also gonna impound your account $1,800 more a month." And we're like, "Oh, cool! You want more of the money we don't have? Excellent!" So I was like, "Okay, I need to do something." So we converted a spare bedroom into a massage studio, and I started seeing massage clients again. And I was working from home that way, at least on the weekends, even though we weren't spending family time together.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to generate just enough money to get us out of deficit to where we could pay back that $10,000 relatively quickly and avoid this extra amount being tacked onto our mortgage payment. And then from there, that led me to the business I'm in now, because I was using the oils and got exposed to them, and it's pretty quickly became more financially profitable to use and share and educate people on the oils than it did to muscle through 8 massages all weekend. And less taxing on the body, and I was less tired, so then it just kind of took off, and it got like really massive and huge and was bigger than I'd ever expected. And so it was accidental almost.
But you worked.
Well, yeah, because I saw the potential, and then I saw what it could do for our family, and not just like, soon it was like, okay, cool, I've now made enough money to replace massaging, and now I've made enough money to replace my old corporate income, and now I make more than my husband does at his job, and now we make double what he used to make, and now money's not like an issue, and he doesn't have to even work, and it's cool. It's cool to be able to create that from home at your pace the way you want, without somebody else telling you what to do or whatever.
Well, and after hearing you say all that, I'm wondering if those moms that do feel that way, that like, well, I shouldn't spend this and I have to be careful with this, I wonder if it's those women that are the ones that should be actually working, if they're just not really tapping into that feeling of that. Because like you said, I mean, you always wanted to contribute, but you also knew you wanted to stay at home. So I'm just wondering if maybe most of because not all stay-at-home moms they have that feeling of, I can't spend this much money, or I have to check in with my husband because he makes the money. So I'm wondering if maybe most of those women that do feel that, they're just missing that inner drive to go and do it themselves. They need you to push them.
They're not.
I don't think they feel strong. I think that was part of it. And you probably see this when people come to Waypoint. They start to get this confidence because, wow, my body's doing these incredible things and I feel really strong. So what else can I do that I thought was, unachievable or impossible? And it sort of sets this fire to this new idea of like, I decide what the next phase of my life looks like. And so now with this inner confidence and this physical strength and even just working out and getting back to somewhat of a routine and feeling strong again, I've been working harder in my business because I feel strong again. I don't feel like this schlubby little person that's just like, on my phone working. I like want to go like punch people in the face and convince them that this is going to be an awesome step for them.
Or I will punch you.
You're going to love this.
You're a pusher. I always say I'm like, I think I'm a confidence builder. Like that's how I think. I always think confidence is kind of what's lacking with a lot of decisions, or lack of making decisions, or lack of working towards, I don't know, more stuff we like to do, or like stuff, I don't know. Yeah, I talk to a lot of women daily and weekly that just don't like, they can't even share like how you felt with like their spouse, that they're feeling like they're not fulfilled. Like I couldn't imagine feeling like that for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. And maybe your spouse doesn't even know. They just think you're being a bitch half the time.
Or it manifests in like too much drinking or overindulging or, these like telltale signs of unhappiness. And it could be something like, we joke, oh, I haven't showered in 2 days. Well, some people don't want to shower because they're like, what's the point? I'm not
Right.
leaving this beautiful prison I've created.
Mm.
I'm just gonna get in the car, my minivan, and take my 4.5 kids to school and come home and sit here and, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of these, like, red flags I feel like with women, and I get them all the time. People that want to build a similar business that I have, and I have to tell them, like, what are you willing to leave behind and let go of to do this? Because as you are right now is awesome, but it has to get better. It has to be different. Because you can't create something as you feel right now. We need to figure out how to amp it up and focus on what you're already good at, plant those seeds and grow.
And you gotta continue, and this is a good segue of continuing, because I'm sure you guys work, like, every day I'm working on making myself better, or fulfilling myself, or growing, as you had started talking about in the beginning of. So we're talking about working in the business, but you have to work on yourself too, every day. So this idea that, like, we got it figured out, not so much. It's just continuing to, like, be better every day. That's a little bit better. So what we didn't talk about, your thoughts on the stay-at-home mom.
I feel like, because I wasn't really living
You weren't
that.
there.
Yeah, I can't really speak to that too much.
Yeah. What do you see in your practice?
With stay-at-home moms.
Just,
Really?
yeah, or
Or-
just, it doesn't not necessarily have to be stay-at-home moms, just moms in general, because the flip side of that is mom guilt, I think. Like, we're at 6 years, and I'd say the first 2 years was all those things you talked about, like, oh, how great my kid is developing in that competition in terms of the stay-at-home mom is, that other side of it, and you're probably in that right now, is rough too. Like, I'm not volunteering every day at school. I'm not at all the activities at
Right.
12 noon, I'm not like, that took me a couple years to get over.
Yeah.
Like, that part of it. So that's like the flip side, and you probably see all of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like, I think you have to, especially, which I didn't do, I was really bad at this until really this year, of, like, looking at me as a mom, and me also as a wife, and me as a working professional, and what I have to do and where my boundaries are with each thing. I was always just like, we're gonna make it work. Whatever we do, like, let's just fly by the seat of our pants and just figure it out type thing. But what I'm trying to do now, and have gotten better at, is just making those boundaries. So I know that it's unrealistic for me to volunteer even weekly in my kids' school, probably, even though I would like to do that, but I know it's not realistic, so I can't beat myself up about it. Bo and I have said for the longest time that Tuesdays are going to be our date nights, and it just doesn't happen every week. It almost never happens, and we need to be more intentional about that. But I think having these realistic expectations laid out so that you know what's an acceptable mom guilt, I guess, and what's not an acceptable piece of that, because we can't do it all. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you can't do it all, especially if you have multiple kids. Like, you can't go to all the things all the time and see all the people. So I think that if we try to make that happen for our kids too, we're setting up their expectations that aren't realistic, because it's just not. So I think that's something that I've been working on a lot and talking with more moms about too, because it's
hard
it's
on
hard.
ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, everybody is, but I feel like women are the worst because we have all those hats, and it's not healthy. And so recognizing
want
that
to be
is really
fabulous at everything.
And then we're, like, hard on each other. You have the
Yeah.
stay-at-home
Oh
moms
my
that are like,
God, we're the
"Ugh, the
worst."
working moms, how could you?" And then the working moms are like, "How do you stay at home all day?" When we're all just trying our best to figure out what works for our individual families. And I think part of, like, coming together, and hopefully what, like, your podcast will do, is just kind of show people that there's such a diversity, but we all have the same goal: to be happy, healthy, successful, and teach our kids to do the same thing. And that's going to change. My mom life at year 1 was that picture perfect, like, oh, we have this beautiful house and we get to stay home and look at our pool.
Stage photos.
Totally. It's not
The
realistic.
Christmas card.
Right.
Well, our Christmas cards are inappropriate, but they are, all of them. But that's what's expected of us now at this point. So if you ever need a good laugh, I've got 6 years of Christmas cards. But it's just we're so like hard on each other, and we're so judgmental, and we do that with how people look. Like you can assume somebody's not strong because of what you think the ideal strong physique looks like, or you could think somebody's not educated because they have a shit ton of tattoos and they say cuss words. Like I will murder people with my intelligence. I just don't have to package it so that it fits your idea of what a smart person looks like. And we have to just be more accepting and loving and have like more grace for each other and like hold space for each other, because we're all just doing the same thing the best that we can, and we can't be separated. And I feel like there's so many of these like constraints we put on our relationships and each other because we just don't want to assimilate or get to know one another better. It's rough.
I used to think that people were just mean, like chicks are just mean, but then I realized over years of working with people that, oh no, they're like way harder on themselves. Like we're just getting a fraction of whatever they're beating themselves up about. Like that's super sad, and it changes it because it does allow you to create some empathy. You know, when you're around people like that, I'm like, oh man, it's a lot of hurt in there. You know, for them to openly express stuff that's not so kind about other people, I'm like, oh, they're way harder on themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I was listening to this guy talk about just self-love essentially, and how think about the things that you tell yourself, hopefully not on a daily basis, but a lot of people do, speak so negatively internally to yourself. You think about, like, would you ever be friends with someone that spoke that way to you, or would you let your kid be friends with someone that spoke that way to them? And so I think we're just too damn hard on ourselves, and I think it's so hard to recognize that, because we just, again, those expectations, and we want to be everything and we can't. And I think we always compare ourselves. Like you just gotta stay in your own freaking lane and just focus on you and what your life is doing, instead of, oh well, she's only working out 2 days a week and I'm working out 3 and she's in way better shape than me. And you know, it's not the same for any two people with anything, especially with moms. And yeah, so I think you just have to do that self-check and realize that you're better than you're allowing yourself to think you are. I feel like that's probably what a lot of the stay-at-home moms that do feel that guilt feel too. I don't know, that's hard. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah, and I think it's just getting back to, I say this a lot in the other videos I do, is just getting back to doing more stuff that you like to do. Like when you start talking about like wanting to do others, like I used to be cool, I used to do stuff like, I don't know, like what you used to do, you know, ride your bike, or I don't know, go out, go see music, but people take away from their bucket, like their bucket that fulfills them, to give to their kids, and I think it needs to be more balanced. I don't know, I don't like that balanced word, but in terms of work-life balance or kids, or I don't know, I think it's just happiness. I think it's just getting to be in a happier place.
I know the last couple of years for me, that's what women do. We take care of everyone else first, and then our needs are met last. And so what you get is this like burnout and resentment, and then it bubbles over, and it usually shows up irrationally. And there's
to your spouse,
to anyone, like, to the crossing guard that you have beef with one time, all of a sudden you're like, let's do this. I'm pissed off that nobody sees me as me anymore, so I'm gonna fight you in front of these third graders.
You don't tell me.
He's
when you're across the
87, but that's fine.
Keep your sign. You're gonna need it like a shield, because I'm coming at you hot. But the word that really bothers me is selfish, because I try to teach people, especially the women that I work with, that you have to take care of you first. You need to practice self-care. You need to carve out time for yourself where it's just for you. Fill up your cup first before you fill up anyone else's, because you're no good as a mom or a friend or a wife if you hate yourself or you don't have time to reconnect with your body or what you want to accomplish or how you're feeling or take an emotional inventory. So yeah, take the hour bath that you need. Have the glass of wine that you need uninterrupted. Like, go on a movie by yourself. Like, go do things alone so you can recharge and then show up for other people. Otherwise, you're just going to drain yourself, and then you're going to be unhappy, hating your life, and wondering where it all went wrong, when really you didn't take those simple steps to just keep you intact. And then everybody else, people still get fed in my house. People still go where they need to go. They still get dressed. They have everything they need. I just take care of me first. And that's non-negotiable anymore.
Well, it's why they tell you on the airplane when they're doing their like pre-check stuff in the beginning, put your oxygen mask on you first and then do your kid. And I remember thinking before, actually thinking of it in a different way all the time when I was on the plane, especially after I had kids. I was like, well, why would I not put it on him first? Like, he's only 2, he needs it before I do. But if you're dead because you don't get oxygen, you can't help him and he can't help himself. So you have to take care of yourself first, or else nothing else gets done and everyone else suffers if you're suffering.
So how's the, with both of you, well, with all of us working, how is the dynamic, the family dynamic and the spouse dynamic with you guys? How does that work?
So Bo and I, in the very beginning, especially when I wasn't working as much, and he still works probably like 8 more adjusting hours than I do, we kind of set these roles of, not that he's the head boss at the clinic or anything like that, but push comes to shove, he's going to go to the clinic and take care of something, and I'm going to stay home. And I'm going to be home to make dinner every single night except for on Thursdays, and that's my one night that I'm working late and he can be with the kids. So we just tried to establish those kind of roles in the beginning, because especially with both of us working at the same place and essentially having the exact same role there, it's just impossible for us to not have different roles. And even we kind of, when we bought the clinic, we were talking like, okay, are you comfortable with hiring and firing people, or do you want that to be more my role? And do you want to sit there and talk to people about money if it needs to be, and or you know? So I think, especially with both of us being in the same place working, we really had to figure out those boundaries, but then be okay with it, because sometimes things will come up in the clinic where it's an equal right issue that we need to work on, but we have to be okay with saying, okay, I'm going to step back and you got this one, and I'm not going to give my opinions and I can't change what you're doing, but just being okay with it. So I think ours is really challenging, just because it's the same. We're the same people in the house, and we're the same people all day in the clinic.
You don't have a lot of space.
Don't have a lot of space.
You are close.
Yeah. It works out pretty well there, because we're so busy during the day. Like, we don't even get to talk to each other. We get to wink at each other across the room sometimes. So it works for us, but it's still hard. Like, I mean, there are some times where he'll be addressing something and I'll hate everything that he's doing about it, and it's so hard to check yourself with that. But yeah, I think we had to work a lot on communication and realize that the way we communicate about business is not the same way that we communicate in our relationship and with our family, and that it's okay that that's different. And so I think that was really hard for us to figure out, because you got to be okay being blunt at work and not having that emotional side, and not being mad when there is some emotion. So that's how we're just constantly working on it.
How about you guys?
Ours is messy, to be honest, because I've never had a job like this before. There's no like rule book, when you're building your own business, and so a lot of triggers come up along the way, and role reversal and time management and communication, and the way that I used to do things is not the way that he does things, and I'm still contributing and he helps me. So we have to really rally as a team in all things. And so it's not just like, okay, Jerry, you do all the cooking and cleaning and I'm just going to make the money, because I don't have to work that many hours. It would be really rude of me to just sit at home and lounge around if I'm not working when laundry needs to be done or folded or something's messy. So we have to approach like our home life and business life as a team. And so because our business is our life and our life is our business, there's not a lot of clear boundaries in that. And so we've just become really good at communicating. And I think that's one of our best strengths, is that we can pretty much talk through and find a solution and get to the root of something very quickly. But we have a lot of things that come up often. And I would say that the last 2 years of him being home have been some of the most challenging years in our marriage, because we're with each other 24/7. 24/7. He rarely leaves, and if anyone's leaving the house, it's usually me. But with that, like, he has his own chunk of time. We time block our schedules so he knows that these are my hours, these are his hours, this is when we collaborate, this is how I pick up slack for him, he picks up slack for me. We co-create on everything, we get each other's input on everything. So we're doing the best we can, but sometimes it's a total shit show. And sometimes I want to karate chop him as hard as I can in the eyeballs. And sometimes I just want to like melt on his lap, and whatever I need, we just do. And we just roll with it. And it's going to get better and worse, I'm sure. And it's going to constantly be this 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because it's messy. Like, life is messy and unpredictable. And he's more, he likes to think things through and go slower, and I'm like almost like an evil 80s villain, where I'm like, oh, I have this amazing idea and I already did it, but I'm telling you about it now. Like, I've already done something, or I activate things. They make fun of, like, my friends make fun of me because when I have a really good work idea, they just send me like pictures of like rockets taking off or things blowing up. Because when I get excited about something, I just just tunnel vision. And Jerry's not like that. He's very like, well, let's look at it from this angle. Let's take a third-party observer, opinion. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, let's just see if it works. Let's just put the pieces in all the holes. If some don't fit, who cares?
I did it.
Like, it's already done. I already did it. Like, P.S. I just did this thing.
If you're gonna like
I just did this thing. So it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard, and I don't foresee it getting any easier, because we're only going to continue to grow and expand and do more things. So just a matter of keeping our heads above water and just that real connection.
Is there like future opportunities laid out, or do you have to seek them out?
Meaning, like,
I don't know.
So the way, like in the company, they have these different income levels. If I get to I'm at the second to highest income level now, and if I get to that top income level, I could basically start over and build a whole another one. So it's this like endless opportunity. And then, is the thing that sucks about me is I'm a terrible adult. So when it comes to like managing money and like setting aside money for taxes and like being responsible, I'm like Macaulay Culkin. I'm like, I was like, we don't have money. I'll just come up with 20 grand somehow. I will figure out a way to get us $20,000. Just hold tight. Yeah, it's fine. We'll be fine. And then I don't do what I'm supposed to again. And then I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'll go get some more money. It's okay. I'll go get some.
Right? Watch the podcast.
Yeah, just hang out. I'm just gonna go get like 10 grand real quick. So that's my Achilles heel. Is I'm really not that responsible financially, but then I can always instantly get more money. So I'm like the worst. I'm the worst.
I don't even remember what I asked.
I don't even know what you asked either. It's the clip. The clip is still hanging out with me. The clip makes you speak your truth.
I need to go see
It like shakes your soul and says, tell your secrets.
It's here. We're still talking about that $10,000.
What does the next opportunity look like? I don't know. Probably me making a ton of mistakes.
So like just widening your net, like just figuring it out.
It's just it's cool to like be in a company that I'm really aligned with, because I can endlessly create in that way. So if I want to start like an organization or create something or like fund something, it's easy for me to be a part of that or like support other things. But then the downside is I don't really think things through. So sometimes I make really terrible decisions. But then I always recover really well, like really well. So it's I don't know what the question is.
I think you answered it. You're not sure.
I just don't really have any idea what I'm doing, but I'm having a really good time doing it.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm making
keep
money
going.
to take care of my family, so
So keep going, and it gets better and better.
it has to.
Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes it'll get worse.
Yeah, for sure it's gonna get worse. For sure.
That's gonna get better.
You guys might see me out there in Uptown with like a big old can. There's like ding ling ling ling. Need money to pay back neighbor because I lost a massive bet when I was drunk. I'm just gonna go get some money. I'm just gonna get some money. It's fine.
Oh my
I'm just gonna go to the money store.
Oh, we lost it. I don't even know what I asked. How about you guys? You guys have a plan? No. We're not talking about planners, are we?
I think something like that. Yeah, let's go with it. Let's go with that.
We're just gonna keep getting better. That's the idea.
This is probably an intervention, isn't it? Are there people outside?
We're gonna take
Our whole family's outside, just like Kim.
Emily just called him in with her watch.
That's what that was.
That was that first minute.
We're going to Shady Pines.
We're gonna go push it up.
Yeah. Oh my God.
More unsubscribers.
Is this a murder? I didn't tell Jerry where I was going.
Your cell phones do not work here.
Yeah. Jerry doesn't know where I am.
You thought that was a great.
And I don't even ask Jerry where he
I
goes.
thought that was a great.
This is dead.
This is okay.
Oh my gosh.
Mexico.
Did Mexico send you? The earthquake.
Oh.
No, not the earthquake.
Okay, the only this question, because this was on one of your posts like last year, I think.
But I'm super anxious all the time.
No, the one about psychic ability and intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
Are we getting spooky now?
maybe when did you, because you put it out there,
Hold on,
so
I need to look at
there.
Tell me again. What do you need me to know?
Tell me, when did you first?
Jamie, hear me.
Oh my gosh, we've got a grave saying.
There's another bushel?
There is. When, yes, we are. When did you first, like, can you pinpoint, like, feeling that way, thinking that, or knowing that your mind worked a little bit differently, maybe, than others?
Well, so I have people on my mom's side that have been very open with their, like, psychic stuff and intuition, and I feel like my family's very divided. So my dad's side is like super Russian German, like we believe in nothing, talk about nothing, like
no feelings.
shut it down.
Yeah.
My mom's side is Mexican and Irish, so they're just like, everything is everything.
There's ghosts everywhere. Yes.
So there was, like, I remember specifically my mom's cousin used to tell me he's psychic and he would play these tricks with, like, not baseball cards, cards. Is that, they're just called
Skyka cards?
Playing cards.
Yeah, playing cards.
Yeah.
Not baseball.
Sorry, I thought
Baseball
about like what I taped to my bike, and then I was like, no, it was these cards, and then I was just like, but he would play games, and I was probably like 7 maybe, and I'd hold up a card, he couldn't see it, he'd tell me what it was.
Yeah.
And he would do all these cool little human tricks. And then I started to be able to do that, where I could do the card tricks, but then I would like think about somebody and they would call our house. Or I would think about somebody at school and they'd be the first person I would see. Or I would manifest things in weird ways, like it would happen with money or just like stuff that I wanted. And it was just very interesting to be young and being able to kind of like occasionally take the wheel.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, it used to scare me because I would get these feelings, like these real deep, heavy feelings of like if somebody was sick or in trouble or hurt or like gonna die. Like I've pretty much known the day of when people in my family are gonna die. Like just know it. And a lot of my family have waited until I was there to pass too, which is interesting. To like, I don't know if that was like the transitional period and they just needed me there.
Yeah.
But it just kind of built up to where I used to do a lot of drugs to forget about it. Because I was like, oh, I I don't want to have. I've seen Teen Witch. I don't want to have powers. Like I don't want to be one of those weirdos. So I was like, just give me all the weed.
Always wanted to be.
Just give me all the weed and all the alcohol you got, Billy. Yeah, I'll be your girlfriend. Sure. Just give me all your weed. So I just numbed for a really long time, and then I met some cool healers. And when I was like 17. And got interested in psychology and took some courses and met some like spookier people. And then they kind of taught me how to harness that ability through meditation and just accepting and integrating that like extra energy, because that's all it really is. It's just I feel like I just have a homing beacon that just sticks out a little further than most people's. And it's just it comes up as like intuition or like really strong gut feelings or manifesting really easily. And that's where it becomes problematic, because I'm like, no problem, do it big or small. Like, God, you fix it. Yes. Yeah. So it's become like a great tool, but for a long time it scared the shit out of me, and I was like not even interested in it. So I smoked it away. Actually, it got worse. It got much worse when I smoked.
Did it?
Well, just like from what I was told from one of my...
Then you just become paranoid.
Right. Well, there's like this...
You hear everything.
There's like a veil around you, like, supposedly, that keeps different energies from entering. And when like you smoke weed, you're kind of putting holes in the aura. And so that means there's not a lot of permission to come in and out. So then you can kind of feel more plagued by like absorbing energies around you or other entities. Are we getting spooky or...
Yeah.
Just think.
I'm picturing when I've seen people on hard drugs, like that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like it looks like everybody's coming after, like at them.
It just feels
spiritual,
weird,
not
just like uncontrollable. So.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
It's interesting. Like I met my husband, and I used to like see things. Join my business.
Mr. Coyote's out there.
But like like I would get like these weird like little premonitions, or I would like see things, or like when I work on people, I get different flashing lights when I'm working on people. And when I met Jerry, a lot of the scary stuff stopped. When I met my husband, a lot of the really like spooky things. We're talking like rooms changing 20 degrees colder. The one room in the house that I lived in with friends was like 20 degrees colder all the time, and shit would go flying off the walls, and just weird stuff kind of always followed me. And then I met Jerry, and it all stopped. Yeah, he's got some cool like Sicilian Native American background, and he's got lots of like people in heaven that got his back.
So you didn't freak him out?
No, I'm sure he did. Sure, 100% sure he did. I still freak out Jerry.
He has some balance.
Jerry's still very afraid. Still. It's been like, I think he just married me because he was terrified. He was like, I don't think I can shake her.
She's never gonna
pretty much she's never gonna leave me alone, so where do I sign?
Oh, that's super. That's cool. Is that why people don't talk about it so much? Because they think it's like witch.
Sounds weird. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what you know this, I think. What's the percentage of our brain that we can actually tap into? It's like...
It's in the 20s.
It's very small. So, because Bo and I got just level 1 Reiki, what's it called? Attunement. We got attuned. And the lady that did it with us, she was saying like, everybody has some of this ability. You just have to pull it, and you have to recognize it and see it. So even like that whole, you start thinking of someone and then they call, like everybody can work on that. Like so she was telling us after that, she goes, just try it. Like you push the elevator and you're the button, and you try to guess which one it's going to be, and pretty soon you're just going to start getting more in tune with your whole environment and the energies and everything, and you can have more of that ability to do that. But
well, the people that are afraid of it are the same ones that they buy magazines of homes they're never going to have because they want to manifest things like that or duplicate that, or they make vision boards with things that they cut out of magazines, and that's developing your intuition and manifesting and focusing your energy on a specific thing. And that's why they're powerful, because if your mind goes there first, then your physical world can catch up, and we all have this capacity to do that. We are all made of energy, so it's foolish to think that you don't have the ability to harness that in a positive way. And some people, like if you're doing a lot of drugs, then yeah, it's not going to feel good. It's going to be uncomfortable. They're probably...
We don't encourage that.
No.
Unless you come to my retreats.
Oh, God.
On Thursday nights.
Do retreats?
No, but I totally would.
But we're gonna
If I could find a good
We're
ayahuasca
gonna do it.
one.
It's gonna be here. We'll have teepees.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be
That'd be
fun?
the best.
By the clip.
Astrofest. Drugs optional.
Not
Just
by the
kidding.
cliff.
I'm gonna give them to you. Somehow. It's gonna be a game.
Teepees. That'd be cool. I always wanted a teepee out here.
And then we can reenact the movie. You can dance with it, or the video. If you want to, you can leave your friends behind. Just ribbon dancing around a pole.
That's ribbon.
Yes.
What is that? Yes, we're jumping when you spin.
I used to have that little ribbon thing when I was
Did
younger.
you?
That was like the original jazzercise. And then Jane Fonda was like, give me that.
No, I'm talking about like the spiritual thing that they do.
Oh, I don't know. I just know it from the music
Have you
video.
ever seen? I think it's
Like dancing around a
somebody
bonfire?
will tell us.
Someone's
what
gonna know.
Like
We'll
they
ask
have
Google
a
later.
pole, and there's ribbon, and I think there's a spiritual meaning. And
I'm sure there is.
everybody has one of the ribbons, and you spin and until it's all the way.
Leave it to
on.
America to butcher into a music video.
Yes.
Like, give me this
Not
sacred
ribbon
totem.
dancing. Like,
No.
Oh, I'm all like butterflies and rainbows. So like, it's just ribbon dance.
And I'm
These are
thinking of the
ribbon
small
dance.
people, like the small people in the video, how cute they were in their little outfits.
Sparklers. Oh, this is happening.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Astrofest.
well, keep with us because maybe 2019 we'll have Ribbon Fest.
Ribbon.
Our personal retreat.
Yeah. We could do it end of the year. I could activate that.
It'd be cold.
Like, just kidding. I just mind text people. It's
I
happening.
wanted that here. I thought that would be
You could
so
totally
fun.
do
You can totally do it.
We'll just bring a couple more of these. Just line them all the way around and.
You can build tiny houses, they all face in the center, and you do stuff in the middle, and everybody pays you. Snag jacket!
If you see it, it means we need an extra 10,000 next month.
Right.
Yeah, Jerry, I just spent $10,000 on tiny houses. I'm gonna need 100,000 more.
Gonna
Because we need 10 of them.
100,000.
No, $100 million.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, to finish, I thought it'd be fun if we finished up with a question.
Yes.
I didn't ask you about this.
No, I like that.
No, like, I don't know, maybe you guys have a better idea. I
I'm
thought
just making weird faces at the camera.
You've actually been really
question
good.
of the day. Okay, I think this will be a good one. Maybe we'll keep it the same, maybe it'll be different each time. But I thought if you knew, because I think this is kind of fun to know, what is the one thing you wish you would have known when you were like 15?
You first.
You've been the role model.
She's touching my mouth.
One thing that I wish I would have known.
Your teenage self, teenage girl self,
I think would be
the worst time of all.
the worst time.
Can I be 16? Because 15, I would have like half boobs and
Oh.
super overweight. So
17 was a good year for me. I'm gonna go with 17.
Oh yeah, 17 was solid. Yeah, I like 17. I had a
Okay,
really
let's
good
go
body.
17.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
I don't know why that matters, but
Because 15-year-old me just
Got
probably wanted Hot
traditionalized.
Pockets.
I loved Hot Pockets.
I love Hot
I
Pockets
still
and Salisbury
do.
steak, so 15-year-old me needed to just stop.
No, let's go to the 17.
17 for sure, 17.
Okay, 17-year-old you. I would say be more present. Like, I've always, I kind of said this in the beginning, I've always just gone with the flow and just seen what happened. And when I was younger, it kind of worked for me because you don't have that many obligations and things that you have to do. And I just kind of carried that out through college, through chiropractic school, through marriage, through being a mom in the beginning. I was always just like, well, let's just go with it and see what happens. So I think I would stress just being more present in the moment and just, I don't even know, just trying to not just go on a whim all the time, but just really living in the moment, I guess. Because, like, there were, even in the last, like, 2 years, I would get through a day and I'd be like, I don't really remember what the hell we talked about today. Like, I saw 25 people and I don't even know what we talked about. And so that would be my thing. Cool. Just trying to be more present.
17-year-old me was on a lot of drugs too, though. So when she sobered up, we'd have a conversation.
Okay.
So the
Sober-
chubby
sober
15-year-old
Cam, yeah.
or the drug.
How do you think I got a good body? It was the drugs. I started drag and dancing and like in the daylight.
Ribbon Fest 2019.
Yeah. Okay, so I just did drugs
Dancing
and
with my
I,
clothes on.
I got myself together. I would say to myself to not stop dreaming because I think 17 is kind of like you know that your late teens is when you start to think about you forget the things that you really would love to do and you think about things that you have to do. And I feel like there were so many things I wanted to do with my life, and like I got into some amazing universities and had people that were offering me scholarships and financial aid to go because despite being a total class clown, I also got really great grades and qualified for a lot of awesome things, and I stayed home to take care of my family and I put them first. And then I chose to stop pursuing my degree because I already had a job that made more money than what this profession would give me when I got my degree finally. And I stopped dreaming, and I was just kind of got into like the motion of life, like, okay, I'm supposed to buy a house, I'm supposed to get married, I'm supposed to have kids, I'm supposed to make X amount, I'm supposed to keep getting promoted even though I hate this work and I want to murder everyone in this office. And I've thought about it multiple times a day and how I would do it with a stapler or like a protractor, which are highly deadly.
Yeah. I don't know why they allow those in school.
Mathematical calculations to like some major arteries and valves.
Right.
I could be like, I just divided your throat in 6 places and now you're dead. So I would say, just keep dreaming. You know what I mean? Just not to settle and not be as influenced by, those outer forces that are like telling you, like even our parents. Like, when are you gonna give me some grandbabies? Like, when are you gonna get out of my uterus? Like, why? You got plenty of time. Okay, you're fine. I don't need to keep cranking them out.
Well, and that's such a good point. Like, I was talking with Bo about this the other day, looking at Max's little kindergarten board that we made for him, and it says, I want to be this when I grow up, and he wanted to be a race car driver this year. Like, I don't know what about that, maybe just because it's not very typical, I guess. But when did we start letting those outside things come in to say, no, race car driver is ridiculous, you can't do that? Like, when does that start? So I think that is...
Mine wants to be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
She's 3, and I'm like,
You
yes.
Good point.
Which one do you want to be? Indoraptor? Are we a hybrid? Like, what are we doing with this?
Like, why are we not doing that?
It sucks.
Yeah.
And if you ask women
Yeah.
to dream, they say nothing. They're just like, I want to get all the Ray done I can get.
Yeah, I'd like to make it to the gym tomorrow.
Right.
That's not a dream.
Right.
I think I want a budget for Invisalign. You're like, what do you mean? Just go get some wires from the garage. I'll help you right now.
Drill them in your...
Just wrap them.
Just
Keep dreaming. Bigger. Like, I want a
Snack jackets.
snack jacket.
Ribbon Fest 2019.
Right. Or saving that baby orca, J50. Is it J50? That's a dream. That 3.5-year-old baby orca that's basically starving.
Where is it?
We don't know. He hasn't been seen in like 5 days.
Oh.
Someone needs to be dreaming to find that thing. Save it. Go watch Free Willy one time to get your ass out into the PNW and go get that baby orca. Keep dreaming.
We need some whale dreamers out here.
With that,
Somebody go get that orca.
episode 1
Get the
is
orca.
in the books.